Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, June 19th, and this is episode 125. 124, I think. I think I've gotten a little confused on numbers, but welcome to my knitting podcast. I've been doing this 120 some odd times, so you'd think I'd figured it out by now, but oh well. Each day is a little different. So welcome everyone. Hello. Thank you for spending the next probably half an hour with me, and I really appreciate it. So let's start with Blow the Conch announcements. We still have the Night at the Theater Shawl knit along going on till the end of the month. You can still join in. The fastest I've knit one is probably a couple weeks, so you have enough time. You might not be able to knit on anything else, but that's okay. Actually, no, I did knit on some other things when I did it in a couple weeks. But yeah, the rows get really long at the end. It's okay. It's totally worth it. The other thing that's happening right now is the first annual Friends Fraternal Sock Swap KAL. And if you've signed up for that, I have matched everyone up, I think. If you still want to join in, feel free. There's still spots open. Yeah, I'll share more about that in a little bit. I was trying to come up with an Instagram hashtag that we could use, because someone asked about that in the group. So maybe I'll put it along here at the bottom of the screen when I think of it, when I'm editing. I'm doing this, so maybe I'll remember. Sorry, I'll put it in the show notes too when I think of one. I just have a blank in my show notes right now saying, hey, you need to fill something in here, and I haven't done it yet. Yeah. Okay, so those are the two announcements. The other announcement that I have is it's more of a question. I was wondering how many of you watch the podcast on my website, which is pearlofthepacific.info. I also post it on YouTube. I mean, that's where the video comes from. So you can, if you subscribe, which you should do, because then you'll get notifications when I post new videos. And then I also post it in the Ravelry thread, which is just a link to the YouTube video. And then I usually, if I remember, post it to my website, which will feed like Feedly or other things like that, other RSS feed readers. And the reason I'm asking where you watch this is because the renewal for my website is coming up pretty soon, and it's rather expensive. I have to call them and figure out what's going on, because I don't remember it being that expensive before for the hosting plan. And so I'm considering discontinuing my website for now, because right now I'm using it for the podcast mainly and some other random things that I don't use it for terribly often. And so I'm wondering if there's a big need for that, then maybe we can do some fundraising for that. I'd also like to get on iTunes, but I know that's a little more complicated and a little more involved. I know you have to pay to get that, because YouTube and iTunes don't work together, so you can't take a YouTube video and just put it on iTunes. It's more complicated than that. So I'm contemplating doing some like micro fundraising for the podcast to cover also cost of prizes, things like that, or cost of shipping prices. I've gotten a ton of donations, which I'm eternally grateful for. But shipping does add up over, after a while and things like that. And speaking of which, the prize winner for the April and May knit along has not contacted me, which was Tales of Yarn, Cindy. So if you're watching, get in contact with me. If not, I may get in contact with you, or I may just pull a new winner. That's also a possibility. So let me know if you watch on the website, or if you'd be willing to watch another place, because if I have a lot of people watching on the website, then I'll consider calling them and figuring out a new plan that's maybe not so expensive, or figuring something out. So let me know. That would be extraordinarily helpful if you let me know where you watch it, because for me it just all gets clumped into YouTube views because it's just linked to one video. But I post it in 3 different places. So let me know. Okay, on the island, let's move into some knitting, right? I have a couple of things. I cast on some socks this week. So I got my swap package from one of my partners. I'm actually partnering with 2 people because we had an odd number of people, so I get to partner with 2. So I partnered with Stephanie, who is Hot Pink Socks, and she sent me a lovely package, which I will share more about later. And I might have to go get the rest of it. I totally forgot now that I'm sitting here. I got it earlier this week, and I got so excited that I already cast on the socks, and so I hadn't thought about it. But we swapped, this was the yarn that she sent me, and we sent 24 grams, if you're curious. So that's enough for heels, toes, and cuffs, supposedly. That should be enough. I measured, and that should be plenty. And she sent me some Raventwist, which I'd never used before. And the yarn base is Starri, and the color is Thunderbird. And it's very fun. So Starri is from Old Norse, meaning hard worker. So it's a hard working yarn, I can tell that, which will wear really well for heels, toes, and cuffs. So that's the color. You can kind of see it's got some greens. It's very dark tonal teal. It's more on the blue side. It's very navy with maybe hints of green undertone in parts of it. And so that's being paired with my what is this? Freckled Whimsy in her Whimsy base in the Hope Floats colorway, which I showed a couple weeks ago, I think, that I had pre-ordered. And we decided to do the Blueberry Waffles pattern, which I'd never done before. So I was like, let's do that. And I'll show you another fun thing that she sent me. If I unsnap my thing from it. So these are the socks so far. Ta-da! And I'm loving them. The pattern is written for, I think it's DK weight, but we're doing on fingering, and I'm doing them on size 1, and I've gone down to 56 stitches. And that fits my foot really well because it's very stretchy. Now I am loving how this is knitting up. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. I love this yarn. I will definitely be getting more of this yarn. And as part of the package, she sent me these really fun donut stitch markers, or progress keepers. So there's one. There's another one in that sock, so I can keep track of the different socks and which side was the front of the toe and the back of the toe, and it got all complicated. And the other 2, I think, are in here. Here they are. So there's 2 more there, which are super fun. And they're not as heavy as you'd think, because they're big, but they're not heavy, which is really nice. And these came from Amari Creations. I think that's how you pronounce that. On Etsy. That's a cute card. So that's where those came from. I mean, Stephanie sent them to me. And she also sent me this awesome device here, which is a needle cozy, or a needle sweater as she calls them, for either 2 at a time or parallel. Got fun chevrons on the inside. So you can, I've got my socks parallel here. And the way I put them in, you put one with the needles in like that, and then I snap that edge over there. And then one, the needles in like this, and you can snap the middle and push the cord up. Come on. It's hard to do this on camera well. Okay, there we go. So, I just thought this was super fun. I'd never seen one for 2 at a time or parallel. Because you can also stick them both, like both socks in a single one. But if you're doing 2 at a time, you can't. But if you're doing them parallel, you could. I just thought this was super fun. So you should check out her shop, The Rusted Stitch. And it's got this, it's a wooden label on there, which I think is really fun. And this is sweater pattern. It's the same or similar yellow to the one that I bought a bag from her. So I've got a big needle cozy or double needle sweater, and a single needle sweater, and then the bag that all go together. So that was fun. So that was part of my package because she wanted me to show it off. So here it is. I'm really liking it. It's nice to keep the socks together, to keep them from getting tangled up. Unless I drop the yarn everywhere. So I'm almost to the heel on those, and they were flying along, and then I thought, why don't I wait? And because I still have to send her package. I was gathering up some other things, but she's on a road trip right now with her family, so she wanted to send hers before she went, and then I'm actually sending hers to where she is. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to hold off on those so we can actually knit them together, because it's kind of the idea is to knit these together as friend socks. But I've been sending her pictures, and it's really fun. So I'll have to show you the rest of her package in a bit. I'll have to go get it later. So I stopped knitting those, because I would probably have those mostly done, but I wanted to wait to knit them with her. So I cast on another pair of socks, another pair of my short socks, which I've been loving lately. And I just went into my bag that I've actually been keeping here of leftovers, and I was like, I want to use this. And I weighed it, and I needed something for heels and toes. So I went into my stash, and I found this, which I think is actually a sport weight. After I started knitting with it, I thought it was some leftovers from the Luby Solid series, but that's not what it is. Now that I'm knitting with it, it's not what it is. It's a sport weight. I'm pretty sure I know what this is from, but it's sport weight, just natural. And so I used that as the toe on these socks, and then just after that. And I don't think I'm going to use it for the heel. I think I have enough. Maybe. I'll have to weigh it again to figure it out. But I've gotten one. I don't think I'm quite to the gusset on this one, but I wanted to then start the second one to then know how much yarn I have, so that I can get as far as I can get, and then probably have to switch back to the white. So we'll see how far I can get. But I'm going to try to get through the gusset and then weigh how much I have and then figure it out. But this is the Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Winter Night colorway, which was, I think, their January color of the month, that I knit socks for a friend out of, and then I had leftovers, so I'm knitting me some shorty socks out of it. I'm loving this, like, knitting with the extras, because then it's kind of like a little memory of things I've knit for other people. So now I know these are for a friend of mine. And I'm doing I purchased the Beyond Vanilla sock set from Mina Philipp. And this is the Pebbles pattern, or the Pebbles socks. I'm really enjoying it, because I wanted something. The cat got into this earlier, and he was cuddling with it and, like, licking it, and so there's cat hair all over it. He is weird about knitting sometimes. It's really bizarre. Anyway, but, God, it is covered in cat hair. That's okay, it kind of blends in with the white. It's not such a big deal. But I wanted something, like, with these short socks, you'll see I finished these too. But I wanted something that wasn't just plain vanilla. I wanted something just a little more than that, which is what those sock patterns are for. So it was perfect. So I'm starting with the Pebbles, and I think I'll just move to the next one. I couldn't decide, but that one was the first one in the set. So I was like, oh, I'll knit that one, and then the next one I'll knit the next one. And I didn't really care. I just wanted something that wasn't straight vanilla. So those are perfect, and those are living in my R2D2 bag. And I've got in here the Needle Cozy from Kitchen Counter Crafter. That's it. Ooh, I have a whole host of ends in there. I have no idea what those are from. Those look like they're from my, you know what these are probably from? I cut them off of my Muppet socks, the Sesame Street socks. That might be what those are from. I just shoved them in here, apparently. Oh well. But I was going to stick these in. I can stick those in with it in it. I need to empty those ends out. But in this tiny little bag, it's really important, actually, to put your needles in some sort of something. Because otherwise, it gets really tangled in this smaller bag. I don't know why. But I just thought that yarn goes really well with that. So, and my friend's socks are living in my homespun house bag with the horsey on it. Oh, I need to stick this back in. I'm like, what is this from? This needs to go back in with those socks. It's not currently attached, so that's why I hadn't noticed. So those are the two things that are on the needles right now. Just really simple things. But I finished some things, so I'll talk about those. So I've got these two things back here. So these are I'm calling the no-show socks. They're not quite, they're kind of ankle socks, but they're a little shorter. So this was the first one I did, and this is the Hermione's Everyday pattern, and this is Lehman Fiber Arts Showstopper in the NB colorway. And I had 40 grams, and that was just enough to do this. And what I did was, when I got to the gusset increases, I stopped knitting on the top of the foot and just did the gusset back and forth, and then did the heel, and then the heel turn, and the gusset decreases, and then I knit around and I picked up stitches along where the gusset was, and then knit the ribbing all the way around. So I picked up stitches on both sides and then knit like 8 rows of ribbing. And this length is perfect on the shoes that I like to wear, and but the heel was a little short. I kind of wished it was a little taller, because I realized I didn't bring another one. But the other socks, the like ankle socks that I knit, where I, knit through the gusset on the top of the foot, turn the heel, then knit like 3 to 5 rounds, and then did the ribbing, that I then had, 3 to 5 rounds more here. So that made that a little taller. And so I was missing that. And they're okay. They stay up. They're not terrible. But on this pair, you can see I picked up stitches, and then I did some short rows along the back. So from here to the other side, I did some short rows, I think like 5 rows, to make that back a little bit taller without making the front any taller. And that worked a little better. I haven't actually worn these yet, so I don't know yet, but I liked that better. It seems to fit better. And this pattern is, where is it? Petty Harbour by Rayna Curtis, and this is One Twisted Tree Prime in the Sun on My Face colorway, which I love. So that was another like kind of vanilla but kind of not pattern. You'll see that it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's really simple. It's one of those that you can just throw on the top of the sock to just put some interest in there. And these, I think I both knit them on size 0. My gauge is getting looser, I think. Like I've been having, this is the gauge I think I used to get on size 1s, but now I'm getting on size 0, so I'm thinking maybe I have to go down to knit socks. And I think I did 60 stitches each. I have tiny feet too, so, I mean, me telling you my needle and gauge is going to be, yours is going to be different. But these are the 2 short socks I finished this week. I've yet to wear them since blocking them, because I blocked them yesterday. These I wore without blocking one day because I needed short socks. So I'll let you know how those turn out, and I'm planning to make the winter night ones similar, where they are that like no-show kind of pattern, but with the short rows in the back. I may do them a little longer, but we'll see. And the other thing I finished was my Skew socks, which I think were almost done last week. But I finished them, and I wove in the ends this morning. I washed them, or soaked them last night, and then this morning I wove in the rest of the ends, because I realized one of them I hadn't woven in the ends here because there was a hole. Because you Kitchener that part of the heel, and then you kind of use that end to close in the hole there. It's naturally, there's just a hole there. There's nothing you can do. But it's very easy to close up. So these are the Skews that I knit out of Mint Rain in the Gryffindor colorway. And yeah, I am very happy with these. They blocked out nicely. I did have to re-knit the leg on the first one because it was too small. I haven't actually tried them on since blocking them, but they fit very nicely over my blockers. There's actually a little bit of give to them. And normally the socks that fit over my blockers don't have a problem. So yeah, there's actually kind of some give in there, so I should be fine wearing these. And they're nice and tall, which I like. So these I'm going to wear to Gen Con with my Gryffindor costume. So that will be one of the ones I wear this year, which is exciting. So those are done. I'm very happy with them. And that's it for set sail. From the mainland, I have the rest of my package, which I have to go get. But oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about is that I'm going to start a sock yarn blanket. I know. I've been thinking about it forever, and everyone's done it, and I feel like it's kind of toward the end of its life cycle, but I kind of want to do one. So I've decided, the only reason I kept from doing one was I wanted it to be specific colors, and I wanted to be very picky about it because I want it to match things. And so I thought, I'm like, either I have to knit squares and then sew them all together in a certain pattern, or just be picky about my colors. So I'm just going to be picky about my colors. So my idea is kind of to match this bag with this mint green. This is from, gosh, where did I get this bag? I got it at the Knitting Pipeline. It's from 19 Stitches. That's right. And I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this bag. So this is a nice mint green and gray and white, and then I want some yellow in here. And the reason I chose these colors is eventually when I get a craft room, like sometime in the future at some point, these are the colors I want my craft room to be, is probably light gray on the walls with like an accent mint green wall and like a overstuffed yellow chair. That's kind of my picture. Don't know what else, but I want a big yellow chair and some mint green somewhere and some neutrals. So I want this blanket to match this room that I'm eventually going to have at some point. So I'm like, maybe by the time I finish this blanket, like umpteen years from now, I'll have a room that goes with. So that's my idea. So I picked some yarn from my stash. I've got, this is another Crafty Girl, which is a little bluer than this, but it still fits. And then this is my Juliana's Fiber I Smell Snow. This is the Lost Souls, I think, something like that. Anyway, I love this color. I knit myself a pair of socks, and I would love everything in this color. And this one's pretty similar, as you can tell. This one's got more blue and that one's more green. But those are some of my starting yarns. I'm also going to use the natural from the Winter Night Socks. I'm pointing at the bag that you can't see. And then I pulled out some yellow. So this is my leftover Sun on Your Face from One Twisted Tree. And this is some Highland Handmaids. I think that's called I'll Make My Own Sunshine. So they're both sunny themed. And so these are going to start the blanket with some white and some gray. I think I might have some gray. We'll see. Oh, I have some other yellow in here. I don't know what this was from. I just pulled out some yellow. So I put them in here for now with some size 1.5s because that's what I have free. I had some cubics 1.5, so I'm going to try these out. So that is going to be starting soon. But yeah, so if you have any mint green or yellow minis or gray or natural minis that you feel like sending my way, I will take them. Because I only knit so many things in those colors. But I'm not looking to, knit on this all the time. It's just going to be, a sometimes thing. And when I get the right yarn for it, I will put it in. And I'm probably going to do, start it with, neutral, yellow, mint, neutral. And just kind of, sprinkle the colors. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's going to be planned. I can't do one of those, crazy blankets where you just go crazy. It's going to be very methodical because that's how I am. So, it's a blanket that makes me happy. And I'm not going to make it big. I think I'm going to make it kind of like one person nap sized. That's what I like to call it. I have a blanket at work. It's this fantastic blanket that I got. I don't even know how many years ago. It's not that long ago, but I feel like maybe it was. but it's fleece and it's got Sesame Street characters on it, and it's got like red satin along the edge. And someone made this for me like forever ago, and it's like perfectly nap size for me. And I keep it at work because sometimes it gets cold, or sometimes I'm wearing a skirt and I want to sit cross-legged on the couch at work, so I just put the blanket over and then we're fine. But even if I want to take a nap on the couch, which has happened, then it's like, it's perfectly my size. You couldn't be really much taller and use it. But it's like the perfect size for me. So that's kind of what I'm going to aim for, is that kind of size of blanket. So, because I don't need it to be big. It's not going to go on a bed. It's a lap blanket. So that for me is the perfect lap size blanket. So it maybe won't take me that long, but we'll see. So that is, I think, the knitting stuff at the moment. I'm looking around like things are just going to jump out at me. They're not. I'm going to go get the rest of Stephanie's package, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, starting off, she sent me this cute card. It's like, hey. So that was fun. I won't read it to you. And then, as soon as I opened the package, I could smell this tea. It smells really good through the package. Berry kiwi colada. So I'm going to try that. She said it's good hot or cold, so I may make some and then have it cold because it's hot here. I mean, it's not that hot, but it's on the warmer side. I was talking to my mother-in-law the other day, who lives in Arizona. She's like, yeah, we're having a little bit of heat wave. It's like 115 here. I was like, oh, well, it's not that hot here, but it's kind of warm. But it's Arizona. It gets hot. But I'm going to have some iced tea, I think, later. And then, dun, 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 she sent me this fun shirt. Isn't that fun? It's like all the donuts and cupcakes. And the middle ones have sequins on them, so they sparkle. It's really fun. This one looks like a basketball. It's probably lemon. Anyway, it's a fun shirt. I'm very excited. I would have worn it today, but it's very warm. I'm sitting here kind of sweating. Wish I had podcasted with the fan on like I did last week, but things outside, and anyway. So I'm very happy about that shirt, and I think that is it that I have to show this week. Sorry, it's not a lot, but I think it is a lot. I finished 3 pairs of socks, and I knit on 2 more, and I'm going to start a blanket. I think I'm going to use the, I pulled up the pattern by Kemper Ray from Junk Yarn. She has like the coziest of memories blanket. I think I'm going to use that one. It seems very kind of generic and cohesive in one sense, that I think she is her recipe for the sock blanket, and I know everyone kind of has their own recipe, so I'm going to start with that. And if you have any tips or tricks or anything for the craziness that is about to commence, let me know. So we're gonna see what happens. Yeah, so it's one of those, the garter stitch mitered square blankets. It's gonna be nothing fancy, but no idea what that is. Sorry, I have the windows open and there's an alleyway right there, so who knows. All right, with that, I'm gonna let you go and hope you guys have a great week, and let me know about where you watch the podcast so I can make an informed decision about what to do with my website. I still have a couple weeks before I have to pay the fee to renew it, but I would rather spend that money on other things like yarn or prizes or things like that. So let me know, and I'll give you an update next week to see where things are at. I may call them and find out more information, and maybe I can get a cheaper deal. But right now I saw the bill and I was like, whoa. That was definitely, I mean, it wasn't cheap before, but this is like, whoa, way more than I have to spend on a website that I don't use that often. So let me know what your thoughts are, and Sounds good. All right. I'll see you next week. Bye.